This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, questions remain unanswered as the SDHB works to reinstate services closed by the discovery of asbestos. An effort to help teenagers affected by the crisis in Syria kicks off here in Dunedin. And a local musician is doing his bit to help raise millions for the Blind Foundation. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. Cleaners are continuing to remove asbestos from throughout Dunedin Hospital. The Southern District Health Board is focusing on getting patient services back to normal as soon as possible, but big questions remain about the impact of the problem.
Cordoned off until further notice. Parts of Dunedin Hospital remain out of bounds while cleaners are working to remove asbestos. The Southern DHB is focusing on fixing the problem so public health services can start operating in full once again.
We took immediate action to isolate those areas and to do workarounds so there was minimal disruption to patient and staff, and we're continuing to do that to clean up areas, to retest them, to make sure that they're safe for people to move back into.
Asbestos has contaminated the hospital's ultrasound department as well as the mortuary. It's also been found in a main stairwell and corridor and in several laboratories. Heatley admits the DHB's known of asbestos in the building for decades, but thought it was stable until tests came back positive. It's not known when all services will be up and running again.
Obviously we'd want to do it as quickly as possible so that services are disrupted as least as possible, but we want to do it thoroughly and we want to do it properly.
The cost of the problem's also unknown at this stage, but it's expected to be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Regular testing for asbestos will continue. Heatley remains adamant that the risk to residents is low.
We've got a big responsibility to reassure the public and to continually reinforce the message that the risk is minimal to negligible, and that comes from our medical and technical experts.
She says the Southern DHB is trying to reduce risk in the long term. Ministerial approval has been given for a new clinical services building and other unit upgrades. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
Just over a dozen local schools are receiving government funding to enhance Asian language programs. Otago Girls High School is one of two schools leading the initiative in Dunedin. There are 13 local schools involved, collectively receiving just over $340,000. The money is from the government's Asian Language Learning in Schools program. It comprises $10 million in total. Money allocated locally will be used to pay a program coordinator and 3 Mandarin language assistants. They're set to work with teachers to help youth learn Asian languages at a higher level. A humanitarian project has just been launched in the city to help people affected by conflict in Syria. UNICEF New Zealand is supporting teenagers involved in the crisis by providing education opportunities. And the head of the organisation says Dunedin is a perfect place to start the campaign.
A glimpse into the collateral damage of war. UNICEF New Zealand's executive director has been in the city to launch its latest program, aimed at helping teenagers in Lebanon. She's hoping it resonates with locals.
Because Dunedin has such a rich commitment and history in education, and kind of gets how important that is personally and also for the town economically, we decided to launch here.
Almost 30,000 teenagers are unable to access public education in Lebanon as a result of conflict in neighbouring Syria. UNICEF's pledging to help 2,000 youth build a future through training. The scheme's being supported by Dunedin Mayor Dave Cull and members of the local Lebanese community. Now the aim is to get more people involved by raising awareness of the foreign situation.
The whole population of Lebanon is 4.2 million, so that's all of New Zealand and Otago. And then on top of that, 1.2 to 1.5 million refugees who are living in housing that is not allowed to be permanent.
UNICEF staff have been working in Lebanon for years, seeing firsthand the plight of adults and youth. Core services like healthcare are now in place, so the focus is turning to education as the conflict enters its 6th year. But solutions are proving costly for all aid organisations.
What you need to know is on the ground in Lebanon, all of us will work together delivering those services. So just come back to you, come back to your interest and your means and the level at which you would naturally as a family engage.
She says responding to conflicts can be a balancing act with so many civil wars happening around the world. But the effort's worthwhile to help children who are suffering as a result of adult politics. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
A theft in the central city has left a child with one less birthday present. The gift-wrapped item was stolen from inside a car parked on George Street yesterday morning. The owner suspects entry was gained through the boot as the car was locked and there were no signs of forced entry. The present was a Harry Potter board game valued at $15. Police are also investigating the theft of a wallet and headphones from a car parked on Junction Road at about 4 p.m. yesterday. The two incidents aren't believed to be connected. A local musician is asking residents to back the Blind Foundation. It's the national organisation's yearly appeal week and members are trying to raise $20 million. But even that won't cover costs, with new cases emerging every day.
Strolling with a furry friend. Local musician Bevan Gardner is relying on his guide dog Molly to get from A to B. He's one of thousands of people with poor vision who use Blind Foundation services, including guide dogs.
They would help with, working out the right equipment that I needed, like if I needed to have a braille machine or if I needed a talking computer and things like that. They had vision resource people that would come out.
He was born with bad eyesight and has needed help getting around his whole life. The Blind Foundation has been involved in Gardner's case for years, helping him get his first guide dog at the age of 15. His former dog Denim's now retired, and 2-year-old Labradoodle Molly is learning the ropes.
It takes a while for the team to build up and for us to really get in tune with each other, but I think it's happening pretty quickly. She really misbehaves on the job. She can be a little rascal around the house, but on the job she's pretty well behaved.
Gardner's involved in teaching music at several local schools. He's proving it's possible to complete everyday activities despite a lack of vision. But he's stressing the importance of the Blind Foundation's support.
They really make a difference in people's lives. So, yeah, for the public, again, I'm thankful to the public for getting behind it, and hopefully, encourage them to get behind it this year and donate, because it does really make a massive difference to people like myself.
The foundation helps more than 12,000 people, and on average, that number's growing by 3 every day. It costs the foundation $30 million to operate each year. 2/3 of that is being sought from public donations. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, a local MP is upset our hospital rebuild isn't a priority, and more so after the asbestos scare. And a professional storyteller spreads an important message using laughter.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
Grandad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf, and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St. Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Grandad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. Gillians.co.nz.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Hedges are something we almost take for granted. A good hedge needs regular maintenance to look its best and to add value and character to your property. For all your hedge care needs, call the team at SGC Services on 0800 783 453.
Congratulations, you're getting married. Hi, I'm James Morris, wedding celebrant, and it's my privilege and a pleasure to bring you the perfect ceremony for your perfect day. Don't wait or contemplate. Your consultation is free with no obligation. jamesmorris.co.nz.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boys store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices are just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, your guaranteed a treat.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. Call now on 473 8252. Please adopt a pet now, they will love you forever.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
This year's Oamaru Heritage Festival's theme is Alice in Wonderland, celebrating the sesquicentennial of its writing. Join us in Oamaru November 11th to 16th. See www.vhcu.co.nz for details. And don't be late for this very important date.
Big Orange, for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street. Here's something else to look forward to sinking your teeth into every weekend with the Otago Daily Times, The Weekend Mix, your guide to what's hot in fashion, entertainment, food and more. New weekend magazine in your ODT. Pick up your copy this Saturday.
Welcome back. The business of technology is booming nationwide with growth in revenue, exports, staff and research. The latest figures on the Technology Investment Network show rapid expansion in the sector. The network's 200 companies have collectively grown to enjoy a $9 billion yearly profit. That's a 7% increase on last year, worth an extra $600 million. Export revenues for the sector have reached an all-time high, and a record 19 companies now have yearly returns of $100 million or more. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. The NZX 50 has closed the day up 3 points. It's now at 6,002. The Dow Jones is up 198 points. And to the exchange rates, and the Kiwi dollar is down against all the currencies we follow. The government is again coming under fire for not making the Dunedin Hospital rebuild a priority following a large-scale asbestos contamination. Dunedin North MP David Clark is the Associate Health Spokesperson for the Labour Party, and he joins us to discuss the issue. Good evening.
Good evening, Rebecca.
Now, you received information last year about asbestos at the hospital. Tell us about that. Why has it taken so long to come out?
Well, it has taken a long time. Everything it seems to do with the hospital and the rebuild takes a long time. Tony Ryle, as the previous health minister, promised a full business case for a rebuild to Cabinet this year. Now that's looking like next year. Jonathan Coleman has said he will, first he said it would be a business case to Cabinet next year. Now he's talking about delaying it further through having only the first stage of a business case at Cabinet next year. This material originally came to light or became of public concern in a large-scale report into the clinical services building that needs to be replaced that was done by Becker at the end of last year. I highlighted the fact that asbestos was a concern. It's one of the reasons that the authors of that report recommend a new building for the operating theatres and the clinical services at the hospital rather than a rebuild. There are other reasons, including the use of space, the size of operating theatres and so on. Modern standards, buildings that are 50 years old have different standards to those that are built now. So all of these reasons mean we should rebuild the hospital, and of course highlighting that the asbestos was there in the report and the danger of any kind of refit brought the issues to public attention, and the hospital rightly, although slowly, has looked into whether that is actually a concern now and have discovered that it is.
Has this situation been properly handled?
Well, my beef really is with Minister Coleman and his slow response to the rebuild. What this effectively means, him putting off the rebuild project year after year, is that this situation will take longer to remedy. This building is going to have asbestos in it for the rest of its life. It is a problem that will have to be managed. That's the nature of buildings this age, and the longer the rebuild takes, the longer they'll be in the current building and the more people will be exposed to risk.
What do you think should happen now?
Well, I think the government needs to commit to a rebuild, to having a business case, a full business case to Cabinet before the end of next year at the latest, so that a rebuild can start on Dunedin Hospital as soon as possible.
Have you spoken to any locals that are concerned about the asbestos?
I have. Clinicians especially, those who are using those corridors, stairwells and so on that are now taped off with bright red tape, are rightly concerned about the risk to their health. They have been in that building and they go in there to help people day after day after day, and if they've been exposed to that risk for years, they of course are at a higher risk than the patients who come in and out.
Will you be doing anything to address the issues?
I'm going to continue to raise the issue in the media. For me, this is really important. This highlights the importance of getting on with the job. Dunedin is the last major metropolitan centre in the country to get its hospital rebuilt. Everyone across the political spectrum agrees it needs to happen. We're arguing about the timeframes, and I think this asbestos issue highlights the importance of getting on with it immediately. So we'd keep bring it up in the media and keep at the Minister's heels.
Dunedin North MP David Clark, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Rebecca.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, a narrator has kids in fits of laughter despite delivering a serious message, and the official cash rate is left unchanged. So what will that mean for your mortgage?
Sir Bob Charles, New Zealand's greatest golfer and still going strong.
I'm sure that Sportsville was a contributing factor to my success, and I'll continue to use it.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville, a product so good he puts his name to it.
Well, I believe Sportsville helps maintain your quality of life.
Now being used by active men and women globally to support strength and mobility.
It works for me.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville in the new all-black pack. Call now for the Sportsville special, 0800 502 402.
Mobility Scooters Otago. Mobility scooters, new and used, electric manual wheelchairs, strollers and walkers. Free home demonstration and delivery. Call Tony on 03 455 2875 or visit our showroom, 211 Kinneedwood Street, opposite Westpac.
Pallet fires are growing in popularity in Otago, with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pallet fires, so easy, so efficient.
Mosgiel Mowers Plus can help you with products to make your garden maintenance jobs easier. Lawn mowers, ride-ons, chainsaws, line trimmers. Sales and service are our specialty. Mosgiel Mowers Plus. Phone 489 3572 22B Gordon Road, Mosgiel.
Yeah, we're heading down George Street, down B, tip of the hat to the people we meet on southern skies. Take your place, take your place, take your place in the world. Take your place, take your place in the world.
Wake up time and another frantic day ahead for Haraway's Oat Singles. With 3 delicious flavours in each pack, they don't last long with this family. They're so convenient and tasty, and they're ready in seconds. Haraway's Oat Singles are the ideal breakfast or snack on the run for today's busy families. And there's a flavour to suit everyone. Beat the rush and make sure you get your favourite flavour. Haraway's Oat Singles. Try new Kiwi Favourites Caramel Variety Pack.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
Welcome back. A local man is one of 5 artists to receive $50,000 in the latest New Zealand Arts Awards. 45-year-old Daniel Belton received a Laureate Award for his work as a choreographer, dancer and filmmaker. The recognition and monetary prize comes from the Arts Foundation of New Zealand. It was set up in 2000 with $5 million from the Lottery Grants Board. Belton and other Laureate Award recipients were chosen by an independent panel. A professional audiobook narrator has been in the city promoting literacy to primary pupils. About 150 children spent the afternoon in fits of laughter courtesy of the Australian visitor. But with the good times, there was a serious message.
Cracking kids up with words. Australian actor and narrator Stig Wames is touring the country raising awareness about audiobooks. It's a cause he's been passionate about for a number of years.
These days they're exposed to so many other things that are tempting. Technology is out there, there's computer games and Xboxes and PlayStations and all of that. And reading is very important in a child's life. And so to use audiobooks as a tool, if you like, to help excite kids about going into the library and picking up a book, then that's a good outcome.
Over 100 local primary school children were treated to his theatrical performance. The show's targeting children aged between 7 and 11 years, encouraging them to see how fun books and reading can be.
It certainly is an age where, kids can go either way. It's an age where, if you can help kids fall in love with the idea of reading, then they'll have a lifetime of being a reader. And, as we all know, reading is knowledge and knowledge is wealth, really.
Wames has been working his way around schools and libraries throughout Australia and New Zealand. He's narrated several well-known audiobooks for children and believes in their importance, particularly for boys.
The Andy Griffiths books, boys love them. They're all about poo and wee and vomiting and kissing, great. And so if you can then use the audiobook version of that to help a boy want to engage in reading, then I think that's a great outcome.
Dunedin Public Libraries has signed on to the service, allowing members to log on and download audiobooks for free. Staff are hoping that by making books more accessible via technology, Dunedin kids will engage more with reading. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
The Reserve Bank has today left the official cash rate unchanged at 2.75%. Otago Daily Times business editor Dean McKenzie joins us to explain what that means for residents. Good evening, Dean.
Hello.
What's behind this decision?
Well, actually, it's quite a complex mix that Governor Graham Wheeler was dealing with today. So we've still got the rising house prices in Auckland, and migration is keeping those prices high. We've got rising dairy prices, which we had a slump, but they've gone up 50% again since 4 auctions in a row. We've got rising consumer and business confidence, but also we've got the rising dollar. So he was mixing all that up, and he decided to pause and have a look at all those factors before he makes the next move on December 10.
So this is a pretty good thing for people with loans and mortgages?
Absolutely. I mean, if you've got a floating mortgage, it's likely that this will stay low for at least through till next year and possibly early 2017.
Where is the floating rate at the moment?
It's about just under 6%.
Okay.
And the 2-year rate, the 2-year fixed rate is the most
Popular.
Popular at the moment. Well, it's also the most attractive, seriously, with interest rates because it's below the floating rate today. So, yeah, it's good.
How else could this, leaving the rate at 2.75, affect locals?
Well, a couple of things, Rebecca. One is people, particularly older people who've maybe retired and they've taken their retirement pension or whatever and invested it in banks on fixed deposits. They're not getting any income at the moment. I mean, deposit rates are so low in the bank. So it's a bit of a struggle for people who are relying on that. So they're having to look for other ways to get income. Now, one of those, of course, is going to the share market, but some people have never invested in the share market. So that's causing a bit of a problem. And also, if people feel that they've got more in their pockets because interest rates are lower, they're more inclined to spend up, and that can lead to increased debt on credit cards, that sort of thing.
Will this stable cash rate do anything with dairy prices?
No, the cash rate won't. I mean, but what will happen if our dollar can, and our dollar did fall today because coincidentally the Federal Reserve in the US indicated it will raise interest rates in December while we are likely to cut. So our dollar went down. So if the dollar can stay down a bit, that means our dairy exports will grow, and that'll be really good for the economy. So we have an export-led recovery rather than a domestic-led one.
And as you've just said, there's one more review in December.
December 10, so most people were picking that Mr Wheeler should actually cut it this time, but he's likely to cut it next time because the dollar's likely to remain high. I mean, if there's any hint that the Federal Reserve won't raise interest rates, our dollar's back up.
ODT Business Editor Dean McKenzie, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. And it's not known when all hospital services will be back up and running, but the asbestos problem is expected to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. The head of UNICEF New Zealand is hoping residents get behind a new program to help educate youth affected by the Syrian crisis. And a local member of the Blind Foundation is highlighting the importance of its services in a bid to help raise millions. And it's time now for a look at local weather.
This local weather report proudly brought to you in association with Silberhorn Sportsville.
And here is today's city view. It's taken of a large tree at Robin Hood Park. Around the city at 3 o'clock today, fairly miserable, I think you could say. 6 degrees in the central city, 7 at the gardens, 8 out on the Tyree. Bit of a shower had just come through at 3 o'clock when I took those. Well, to the situation, and after this cold sou'wester leaves, the airflow will tend westerly over the country and it will stay like that for the weekend. To the forecast for some of the main towns in the lower South Island for tomorrow. Sou'westers and some cloud about for Invercargill, Gore and Tiana, all expecting 14 degrees, but a fine day awaits Alexandra with a high of 17. Fine for Queenstown, Wanaka and Twizel, and all of those towns expecting 16. Afternoon nor'easters joins the fine weather in Oamaru with a high of 14. In Dunedin tonight, the showers are expected to clear, but will leave us with an overnight low of 5. Tomorrow, sunny periods and nor'easters developing with a high of 13. And on Saturday, fine and sunny with sou'westers and 14 degrees. And finally, to the Otago pallet fires, tidal and fishing information. High tide tomorrow morning is at 25 to 7 and low tide follows at 1:30. And fishing conditions look pretty bad tomorrow, so perhaps wait until the weekend. And that's all from the team here at 39 Dunedin News for Thursday. Remember, you can catch all of our stories on our website, dunedintv.co.nz, and if you're up with the social media play, you can catch them also on our Facebook page. We shall see you again tomorrow night. Good evening.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.